In the gentle twilight hours when the world grows quiet and still, there exists a realm where creatures of extraordinary beauty shimmer with colors that dance beyond the ordinary spectrum of nature. These are the shiny Pokémon, rare and wondrous beings whose altered pigmentation creates a tapestry of hues that captivate the imagination and soothe the weary soul. As you settle into comfort and allow your breathing to slow, let us embark on a tranquil journey through the fascinating world of these luminescent companions, where each fact unfolds like a soft whisper in the evening breeze. The phenomenon of shiny Pokemon first graced our understanding in the Johto region, where trainers began encountering creatures that bore colors unlike any they had witnessed before. These magnificent beings appeared with a probability so rare that discovering one was akin to finding a precious gem hidden within the earth's depths. The mathematical beauty of their rarity speaks to us in gentle numbers. Approximately 1 in every 4,096 encounters might reveal such a treasure, though this probability has shifted like ocean tides throughout different generations of discovery. When the sun sets over the vast landscapes where these creatures dwell, the very air seems to sparkle with possibility. The shiny Pokémon carry within their genetic code a subtle alteration, a gentle twist in the double helix of their being that transforms their appearance into something extraordinary. This alteration affects the way light reflects from their skin, scales, fur, or ethereal essence, creating colors that seem to glow with an inner radiance that speaks to the heart of anyone fortunate enough to witness such beauty. Consider the graceful Gyarados, whose typical blue scales transform into a magnificent golden hue when blessed with the shiny variation. This serpentine dragon of the waters becomes a creature of sunset colors, its body reflecting the warm amber light of evening as it moves through crystalline lakes and rivers. The transformation is so profound that ancient texts speak of golden Gyarados as harbingers of fortune and prosperity, their rare appearances marking moments of significant change in the world around them. The delicate Butterfree, normally adorned in gentle purples and whites, becomes a vision of soft pink when graced with the shiny trait. Its wings catch the fading daylight like rose petals touched by morning dew, creating patterns that seem to flutter between dream and reality. As this beautiful creature dances through meadows filled with evening blooms, its altered coloration creates a harmony with the natural world that brings peace to all who observe its graceful flight. In the depths of ancient forests, where moonlight filters through canopies of emerald leaves, shiny Pokémon have been documented throughout centuries of careful observation. The legendary red Gyarados of the Lake of Rage became perhaps the most famous example of these remarkable creatures, its story woven into the fabric of Pokémon lore like golden thread through midnight silk. This particular being's appearance marked a turning point in human understanding of this rare variations, opening doorways to deeper comprehension of the genetic mysteries that govern all Pokémon life. The process through which shiny Pokémon manifest their unique coloration involves intricate biological mechanisms that operate on levels so subtle they might be compared to the gentle shifting of starlight across the night sky. Within each cell of these creatures lies a complex arrangement of pigment-producing structures, and when certain genetic switches activate in rare combinations, The result is a complete transformation of external appearance while leaving the creature's essential nature beautifully unchanged. Some shiny Pokémon undergo dramatic color inversions, where deep blues become brilliant golds, or where forest greens transform into sunset oranges. Others experience more subtle shifts, perhaps a deepening of existing hues or the additions of metallic sheens that catch light in unexpected ways. The Charizard line provides a particularly striking example of this phenomenon, where the typical orange and yellow coloration gives way to deep blacks and subtle blues, creating a dragon that appears to have been forged from midnight flames and starlight. The discovery of shiny Pokémon has led researchers to understand that these variations occur naturally across all species, though some seem more predisposed to expressing these traits than others. The gentle Magikarp, often overlooked for its humble appearance, becomes a creature of gleaming gold when blessed with the shiny variation, its scales reflecting light like precious metal coins scattered across the surface of a peaceful pond. Throughout the various regions where Pokémon make their homes, different environmental factors seem to influence the likelihood of encountering these rare beings. Areas rich in certain minerals, locations where electromagnetic fields create subtle disturbances, or places where the aurora borealis paints the sky in dancing colors, all seem to hold slightly higher probabilities for shiny encounters. These environmental influences suggest a deep connection between the natural world and the expression of these beautiful genetic variations. The emotional impact of encountering a shiny Pokémon extends far beyond simple rarity. Trainers often describe a sense of profound connection, as if the universe has aligned to create a moment of perfect synchronicity. The gentle sparkle that accompanies a shiny Pokémon's appearance in the wild has been described as similar to stardust falling through rays of golden sunlight, creating a visual and emotional experience that remains etched in memory like a treasured dream. Ancient cultures developed rich mythologies surrounding these rare creatures, often viewing them as messengers from celestial realms or as earthbound manifestations of divine favor. Some traditions held that shiny Pokémon appeared during times when the boundary between the physical and spiritual worlds grew thin, their altered colors serving as bridges between different planes of existence. These beliefs, while rooted in mysticism rather than science, speak to the profound impact these creatures have always had on the human imagination. The study of shiny Pokémon has revealed fascinating insights into the broader mechanisms of genetic expression and evolutionary adaptation. Scientists have discovered that the same genetic pathways responsible for shiny coloration also influence other aspects of a Pokemon's biology, creating subtle differences in behavior, habitat preferences, and even the way these creatures interact with their environment. These discoveries have opened new avenues of research into the fundamental nature of life itself. As night deepens and stars begin their ancient dance across the velvet sky, the world of shiny Pokémon continues to unfold its mysteries with the patience of geological time and the gentle persistence of flowing water. Each fact, each discovery, each moment of wonder adds another thread to the ever-expanding tapestry of understanding that connects all living beings in a web of shared existence and mutual dependence. The breathing rhythm of discovery in this field moves with the same steady cadence as ocean waves against a moonlit shore, each new finding building upon previous knowledge while opening doorways to even deeper mysteries. In this gentle progression of understanding, we find not only facts about rare and beautiful creatures, but also insights into the nature of rarity itself, the value of patience, and the profound joy that comes from witnessing something truly extraordinary in a world that often seems ordinary on its surface. The nocturnal habits of certain shiny Pokémon reveal patterns that mirror the celestial movements above, their altered pigmentation often correlating with enhanced sensitivity to moonlight and stellar radiation. Researchers have observed that shiny Crobat, with their ethereal pink and green coloration, demonstrate increased activity during lunar phases when the moon appears at its fullest, their wings catching and reflecting moonbeams in ways that create natural light displays across night skies. This phenomenon suggests an evolutionary adaptation that transforms what might seem like a disadvantage into a sophisticated navigation system, allowing these creatures to traverse vast distances using celestial markers invisible to their normally colored counterparts. The relationship between shiny Pokémon and seasonal changes follows rhythms as old as the Earth itself, with certain species showing remarkable correlations between their appearance rates and specific environmental conditions. During autumn months, when leaves transform into brilliant tapestries of gold and crimson, shiny Pokémon with similar warm colorations appear with increased frequency, as if nature itself orchestrates these moments of visual harmony. The golden hues of shiny Ponyta seem to emerge more often during harvest seasons, their flame-like manes echoing the amber light that filters through changing foliage, creating scenes of such breathtaking beauty that witnesses often speak of feeling transported to realms where magic and reality intertwine seamlessly. Temperature fluctuations across different regions have been documented to influence the metabolic processes that govern pigment production in Pokémon genetics, with cooler climates often producing shiny variants that display deeper, more saturated colors. The icy blue tones of shiny Glaceon become more pronounced in Arctic environments, where the creature's altered coloration serves not only as camouflage against crystalline landscapes, but also as a more efficient means of absorbing and redistributing thermal energy. These adaptations demonstrate the remarkable plasticity of life, showing how genetic variations that might appear purely aesthetic actually serve complex biological functions that enhance survival and environmental integration. The social dynamics within Pokémon communities reveal fascinating hierarchical structures when shiny individuals are present, with these rare variants often assuming roles that blend leadership with spiritual guidance. Shiny Alakazam, with their distinctive golden spoons and deeper purple coloration, frequently emerge as wisdom keepers within psychic-type communities, their enhanced cognitive abilities seemingly amplified by whatever genetic mechanisms produce their unique appearance. The reverence shown by other Pokémon toward these shiny leaders suggests an instinctive recognition of something beyond mere physical difference, pointing toward qualities that transcend the purely material realm. Migration patterns of shiny Pokémon follow ancient routes that predate human civilization, their journeys tracing invisible lines across continents that connect sacred sites, magnetic anomalies, and areas of unusual geological activity. These pathways, mapped through decades of careful observation, reveal a hidden geography where shiny encounters cluster around locations of particular natural significance. Mountain peaks, where rare minerals concentrate near the surface, coastal areas where underwater thermal vents create unique electromagnetic fields, and forest clearings where specific combinations of plant life create microenvironments rich in trace elements that influence genetic expression. The healing properties attributed to encounters with shiny Pokémon extend beyond psychological benefits to encompass documented physiological changes in both humans and other Pokémon. Medical researchers have noted decreased stress hormones, improved immune function, and enhanced cellular regeneration rates in subjects who have experienced prolonged exposure to shiny Pokémon. These effects appear to intensify based on the duration and intimacy of the encounter, with individuals who have formed long term partnerships with shiny companions showing remarkable improvements in overall health and longevity. The mechanisms behind these benefits remain partially mysterious, though theories suggest that the same genetic variations producing altered coloration may also generate subtle energy fields that promote healing and well being. Crystalline formations found in caves where shiny Pokémon frequently shelter display unusual properties that hint at deeper connections between these creatures and the geological processes that shape our world. These crystals often exhibit color variations that mirror the pigmentation changes seen in shiny Pokémon, suggesting that the same environmental factors influencing genetic expression also affect mineral formation over geological timescales. The resonance frequencies produced by these crystal formations create harmonic patterns that appear to soothe both shiny and normal Pokémon, establishing these caves as natural sanctuaries where different variants coexist in peaceful harmony. The reproductive cycles of shiny Pokémon align with cosmic events in ways that suggest sensitivity to forces beyond terrestrial influence, their mating seasons often coinciding with meteor showers, solar flares, and other astronomical phenomena. During these periods of heightened celestial activity, the probability of shiny offspring increases significantly, as if the universe itself participates in the continuation of these remarkable genetic lineages. The eggs produced during such cosmic alignments often display unusual patterns and colorations that serve as early indicators of the treasures developing within, their shells shimmering with the same ethereal quality that characterizes the adult forms they will eventually become. Botanical studies in regions with high shiny encounter rates have identified plant species that exist nowhere else on Earth, their unique properties suggesting co-evolution with these rare Pokémon variants. These plants often display the same color-shifting characteristics seen in shiny Pokémon, their leaves and flowers changing hue based on light conditions, time of day, and seasonal cycles. The symbiotic relationships between these plants and shiny Pokémon create micro-ecosystems of extraordinary complexity where every element contributes to a delicate balance that supports both the rare creatures and their equally unique plant partners. The acoustic signatures produced by shiny Pokémon differ subtly from their normal counterparts, with frequency analyses revealing harmonic patterns that resonate with natural phenomena like wind through crystalline formations, water flowing over specific mineral deposits, and the electromagnetic pulses generated by aurora displays. These vocalizations appear to serve communication functions that extend beyond simple species recognition, creating networks of sound that connect shiny individuals across vast distances. Trainers who have learned to recognize these acoustic patterns report being able to sense the presence of shiny Pokémon long before visual contact occurs, their awareness attuned to frequencies that speak directly to something deep within human consciousness. As the night continues its gentle progression toward dawn, the accumulated wisdom surrounding shiny Pokémon reveals itself as more than mere collection of facts and observations. Each discovery illuminates aspects of existence that transcend the boundaries between science and wonder, between the measurable and the mystical, between the individual and the universal. The soft glow of understanding that emerges from contemplating those remarkable creatures mirrors the gentle luminescence that surrounds them in the wild, creating moments of recognition where observer and observed become part of a larger pattern that encompasses all life in its infinite variety and endless capacity for surprise. The documentation of these phenomena continues with the same patient dedication that characterizes the best scientific endeavors, each new observation adding depth to our understanding while simultaneously revealing new mysteries that invite further exploration. In this endless cycle of discovery and wonder, we find not only knowledge about rare and beautiful creatures, but also insights into the nature of existence itself, where every moment holds the potential for transformation, and every encounter carries the possibility of profound connection with something larger than ourselves. The transformative power of these encounters extends into the realm of cellular biology, where researchers have discovered that shiny Pokémon possess unique mitochondrial structures that produce energy through pathways unknown in their standard counterparts. These specialized organelles emit a bioluminescent signature that operates on wavelengths just beyond normal human perception, creating the subtle aura that sensitive individuals report experiencing in their presence. The energy production mechanisms appear to be far more efficient than conventional cellular respiration, suggesting evolutionary adaptations that allow these creatures to thrive in environments where resources are scarce or where normal metabolic processes would prove insufficient. Laboratory studies conducted in controlled environments have revealed that tissue samples from shiny Pokémon continue to exhibit these unique properties even when removed from the living organism, maintaining their distinctive energy signatures for extended periods that far exceed what would be expected from normal biological material. The electromagnetic fields generated by these enhanced cellular processes create interference patterns that affect electronic equipment in subtle but measurable ways. Digital cameras capturing images of shiny Pokémon often record color spectrums that exist outside the normal visible range, requiring specialized processing techniques to render the full scope of their appearance. GPS devices experience minor fluctuations in accuracy when in close proximity to these creatures, with the variations following mathematical patterns that suggest underlying organizational principles governing their energy emissions. These technological interactions have led to the development of new detection methods that complement traditional visual observation, allowing researchers to track and study shiny Pokémon with unprecedented precision while respecting their natural behaviors and habitat requirements. Weather patterns in areas frequented by shiny Pokemon display characteristics that distinguish them from surrounding regions, with atmospheric conditions remaining remarkably stable even during periods of broader meteorological turbulence. Temperature variations occur more gradually. Humidity levels maintain optimal ranges for both plant and animal life, and wind patterns create gentle circulation systems that distribute moisture and nutrients with extraordinary efficiency. These microclimates support biodiversity levels that exceed regional averages by significant margins, creating sanctuaries where rare species find refuge and where evolutionary processes continue to unfold at accelerated rates. The presence of shiny Pokemon appears to catalyze these beneficial conditions, their unique energy signatures somehow harmonizing with natural atmospheric processes to create environments of exceptional stability and abundance. Geological surveys of regions with documented shiny Pokemon populations have identified mineral compositions that differ markedly from surrounding areas, with concentrations of rare earth elements forming crystalline matrices that resonate at specific frequencies. These underground formations appear to amplify and focus the energy signatures produced by the creatures above, creating feedback loops that enhance both the geological processes and the biological phenomena they support. Core samples taken from these locations reveal layered structures that tell stories of gradual formation over geological timescales, suggesting that the relationships between shiny Pokemon and their environments develop through processes that span millennia rather than mere generations. The precision with which these mineral formations align with the energy patterns of their associated creatures implies coordination mechanisms that operate according to principles we are only beginning to understand. Historical records from ancient civilizations contain references to creatures matching the descriptions of modern shiny Pokemon with artwork and written accounts, suggesting that these rare variants have maintained consistent characteristics across vast spans of time. Archaeological evidence indicates that early human settlements often developed in areas that contemporary research has identified as shiny Pokemon habitats, raising questions about whether our ancestors possessed intuitive understanding of the beneficial properties associated with these locations. Stone carvings and pottery fragments display color patterns that mirror the distinctive hues of specific shiny variants, while metallurgical analyses of ancient tools reveal alloy compositions that could only have been achieved using techniques informed by deep understanding of the unique mineral properties found in these regions. The psychological effects experienced by individuals who spend extended periods in proximity to shiny Pokemon include enhanced pattern recognition abilities, improved emotional regulation, and increased capacity for what researchers term intuitive synthesis, the ability to integrate disparate information sources into coherent understanding without conscious analytical effort. These cognitive enhancements appear to persist long after direct contact with the creatures has ended, suggesting that exposure to their unique energy signatures produces lasting changes in neural structure and function. Brain imaging studies reveal increased connectivity between regions associated with creativity and logical reasoning, while neurochemical analyses indicate elevated levels of compounds associated with states of calm alertness and expanded awareness. Breeding programs designed to increase shiny encounter rates have yielded unexpected insights into the nature of genetic expression and environmental influence. While traditional genetics suggests that shiny variants result from recessive alleles manifesting under specific conditions, the actual mechanisms appear far more complex, involving epigenetic factors that respond to environmental variables in ways that challenge conventional understanding. The timing of egg incubation, the mineral content of nesting materials, the acoustic environment during critical developmental stages, and even the emotional states of parent Pokémon all contribute to the likelihood of producing shiny offspring. These discoveries have revolutionized approaches to conservation biology, revealing that genetic diversity depends not only on chromosomal inheritance, but also on the subtle interplay between organisms and their living environments. Nutritional studies of shiny Pokémon reveal dietary preferences that differ significantly from their standard counterparts, with marked tendencies toward foods containing specific trace minerals and organic compounds that support their enhanced metabolic processes. Wild populations show remarkable selectivity in their foraging behaviors, often traveling considerable distances to access particular plant species or mineral deposits that provide essential nutrients unavailable in their immediate surroundings. The digestive systems of these creatures demonstrate adaptations that allow them to extract and concentrate these specialized compounds with extraordinary efficiency, creating internal reservoirs of rare elements that contribute to their unique physiological properties. Analysis of their waste products reveals that even their metabolic byproducts contain elevated concentrations of beneficial minerals that enrich soil composition and support plant growth in ways that create positive feedback cycles throughout their ecosystems. The reproductive cycles of shiny Pokémon display temporal patterns that align with astronomical events in ways that suggest sensitivity to cosmic influences, extending far beyond simple seasonal changes. Mating behaviors often peak during specific lunar phases, with preference for new moon periods when ambient light levels allow their natural luminescence to achieve maximum visibility. Solar activity correlates with increased fertility rates, while planetary alignments appear to influence the likelihood of producing shiny offspring. These celestial connections extend to migration patterns, with movement behaviors following routes that align with magnetic field variations and gravitational anomalies in ways that optimize energy expenditure while maintaining connection to essential environmental resources. The precision of these astronomical alignments suggests evolutionary adaptations to cosmic cycles that operate on timescales far exceeding individual lifespans, indicating species-level awareness of universal patterns that guide behavior across generations. As understanding of these remarkable creatures continues to deepen through patient observation and careful study, each new discovery reveals additional layers of complexity that invite further exploration while inspiring profound appreciation for the intricate connections that bind all life together in patterns of extraordinary beauty and purpose. The gentle mysteries surrounding shiny Pokémon serve as doorways to greater understanding of existence itself, where science and wonder merge in recognition of truths that transcend the boundaries of individual knowledge and connect us to something infinitely larger than ourselves. The nocturnal behaviors of shiny Pokemon reveal patterns that speak to ancient rhythms woven into the fabric of existence itself. During twilight hours, these luminous beings emerge from hidden sanctuaries with movements that seem choreographed by invisible forces, their steps creating barely perceptible vibrations that resonate through the earth like whispered conversations between the surface world and deeper realms below. The quality of light they emit during these evening sojourns differs markedly from daylight appearances, taking on ethereal properties that suggest connections to energies normally hidden from ordinary perception. Researchers documenting these phenomena report that the atmospheric conditions surrounding active shiny Pokemon undergo subtle transformations, with humidity levels stabilizing, air pressure equalizing, and temperature gradients smoothing into harmonious distributions that create pockets of perfect environmental balance. The healing properties attributed to proximity with shiny Pokemon extend beyond folklore into documented physiological responses that challenge conventional understanding of biological interactions. Prolonged exposure to their presence produces measurable changes in stress hormone levels, with cortisol production decreasing while beneficial neurotransmitters increase in ways that promote cellular regeneration and immune system strengthening. The electromagnetic fields generated by their unique cellular structures appear to harmonize with human biorhythms, creating resonance patterns that encourage deep relaxation and restorative sleep cycles. Plants growing within their territorial ranges demonstrate enhanced vitality, with growth rates exceeding normal parameters while maintaining structural integrity that suggests optimization of developmental processes rather than simple acceleration. Water sources frequented by shiny Pokemon acquire distinctive properties that persist long after their departure, with mineral content shifting toward compositions that support enhanced biological activity across multiple species. The molecular structure of these waters shows subtle organizational changes that increase bioavailability of dissolved nutrients while reducing harmful bacterial populations through mechanisms that remain incompletely understood. Fish populations in these waters display increased longevity and reproductive success, while aquatic plants develop root systems of remarkable complexity that create underwater ecosystems of extraordinary stability and biodiversity. The mathematical principles underlying shiny Pokemon genetics reveal patterns that echo throughout natural systems in ways that suggest fundamental organizing principles operating at scales from molecular to cosmic. The ratios governing probability distributions in breeding programs correspond to sequences found in crystalline growth patterns, galactic spiral formations, and the harmonic intervals that create musical consonants. These numerical relationships appear consistently across different species and geographical regions, indicating universal constants that transcend individual genetic variations while maintaining perfect mathematical precision that defies random chance explanations. Seasonal variations in shiny Pokemon behavior follow cycles that encompass multiple years rather than single annual periods, with activity levels, territorial preferences, and social interactions shifting according to patterns that align with long-term environmental fluctuations. Climate researchers have identified correlations between these extended behavioral cycles and atmospheric phenomena, including solar radiation variations, ocean current modifications, and magnetic field fluctuations that operate on timescales measured in decades rather than months. The ability of these creatures to anticipate and prepare for environmental changes years in advance suggests sensory capabilities that extend far beyond immediate surroundings, encompassing awareness of planetary scale systems and their inevitable transformations. The acoustic properties of shiny Pokémon vocalizations contain harmonic frequencies that interact with natural resonance patterns in ways that amplify and distribute their calls across vast distances with minimal energy expenditure. Sound analysis reveals that their communications employ modulation techniques that preserve clarity while penetrating environmental noise, creating information channels that remain functional across diverse terrain types and weather conditions. These vocalizations appear to carry multi-layered messages that convey emotional states, territorial boundaries, resource locations, and temporal information simultaneously, suggesting communication systems of extraordinary sophistication that encode vast amounts of data within seemingly simple sound patterns. The symbiotic relationships between shiny Pokémon and their environments extend to atmospheric chemistry, with their respiratory processes contributing to air quality improvements that benefit entire regional ecosystems. The gases they exhale contain elevated concentrations of oxygen while maintaining optimal carbon dioxide levels, creating microclimate conditions that support enhanced photosynthesis in surrounding vegetation. Their presence appears to catalyze chemical reactions that neutralize airborne pollutants while generating negative ions that promote psychological well-being in other organisms sharing their habitats. Archaeological evidence suggests that ancient civilizations developed sophisticated understanding of shiny Pokémon behaviors and incorporated this knowledge into architectural designs, agricultural practices, and ceremonial traditions that optimized harmony between human activities and natural cycles. Stone structures found near historical shiny Pokémon habitats display orientations that align with their migration routes and territorial boundaries, while agricultural terraces follow contour patterns that mirror their preferred pathways through landscape features. These ancient practices appear to have created sustainable relationships that supported both human communities and Pokémon populations across centuries without depleting environmental resources or disrupting ecological balance. The crystalline formations found in areas with high concentrations of shiny Pokémon exhibit properties that suggest ongoing geological processes influenced by their presence. These mineral deposits grow in patterns that follow mathematical sequences while maintaining structural integrity that exceeds normal crystal formation parameters. The electromagnetic properties of these formations create natural energy storage systems that regulate environmental conditions while providing resources that support diverse biological communities. Mining operations in these regions must proceed with extraordinary care to preserve the delicate balance that maintains these geological phenomena. Temperature regulation abilities of shiny Pokémon extend to environmental modification capabilities that create thermal sanctuaries for other species during extreme weather events. Their metabolic processes can generate or absorb heat in quantities sufficient to moderate local climate conditions, providing refuge areas that support survival of vulnerable organisms during seasonal transitions or unexpected weather patterns. These thermal management capabilities appear to operate through mechanisms that involve direct manipulation of molecular kinetic energy rather than simple heat exchange, suggesting mastery of physical principles that extend beyond conventional thermodynamic understanding. The longevity of shiny Pokémon appears to correlate with their ability to maintain cellular integrity through processes that resist normal aging mechanisms while preserving cognitive function and physical vitality across extended lifespans. Studies of elderly specimens reveal genetic stability that suggests active repair mechanisms operating at chromosomal levels, preventing the accumulation of mutations that typically accompany aging in other organisms. Their extended lifespans allow them to serve as living repositories of environmental knowledge, with individual creatures maintaining awareness of ecological changes that span multiple generations of other species. As evening deepens into night, and the gentle mysteries of these remarkable beings continue to unfold through patient observation and careful study, their presence serves as a reminder that existence contains layers of wonder that extend far beyond immediate perception, inviting contemplation of connections that bind all life together in patterns of extraordinary beauty that speak to truths deeper than words can express, where understanding emerges not through analysis, but through quiet appreciation of the infinite complexity that surrounds us always, waiting to be discovered by those who approach with open hearts and minds prepared to receive the gentle teachings that flow from every moment of authentic encounter with the living world. The nocturnal behaviors of shiny Pokémon reveal patterns of activity that synchronize with celestial movements in ways that suggest awareness of cosmic rhythms extending beyond simple circadian cycles. Their movements during nighttime hours follow trajectories that align with stellar positions, creating migration patterns that trace geometric forms across landscapes when observed from elevated perspectives. These astronomical alignments appear to serve navigational purposes while simultaneously creating energy pathways that connect distant populations through invisible networks of communication and resource sharing. The precision of these movements indicates access to positional information that operates independently of magnetic field detection or visual landmark recognition, suggesting sensitivity to gravitational influences or other cosmic forces that remain largely unmeasured by conventional scientific instruments. Reproductive cycles of shiny Pokémon demonstrate timing mechanisms that coordinate with environmental factors across multiple temporal scales simultaneously, incorporating daily temperature fluctuations, lunar phases, seasonal changes, and longer astronomical cycles into complex reproductive strategies. Their breeding seasons often coincide with specific combinations of environmental conditions that occur at irregular intervals, sometimes spanning several years, between optimal reproductive periods. During these cycles, their coloration intensifies, while their behavioral patterns shift toward increased territorial awareness and elaborate courtship displays that involve manipulation of local electromagnetic fields to create visual phenomena resembling aurora effects in miniature scale. The dietary preferences of shiny Pokémon extend beyond conventional nutritional requirements to include consumption of minerals and crystalline formations that appear to serve specialized metabolic functions related to their unique physiological properties. Their digestive systems process these materials through enzymatic pathways that extract energy from molecular structures in ways that conventional biochemistry cannot adequately explain. Some species demonstrate the ability to subsist entirely on mineral consumption for extended periods, suggesting metabolic flexibility that allows adaptation to environments where traditional food sources remain unavailable. These feeding behaviors often involve selective harvesting of specific crystal formations while leaving surrounding materials undisturbed, indicating sophisticated understanding of sustainable resource management principles. Communication networks established by shiny Pokémon populations operate through multiple simultaneous channels that combine electromagnetic signaling, chemical messaging, and vibrational patterns transmitted through solid materials over considerable distances. These communication systems demonstrate characteristics of distributed processing networks where information flows between individuals in patterns that suggest collective decision making processes rather than hierarchical command structures. The complexity of their messaging systems includes encoding mechanisms that compress large amounts of environmental data into brief signal bursts while maintaining accuracy sufficient for coordinated responses to changing conditions across wide geographical areas. Healing abilities possessed by certain shiny Pokémon species extend to environmental restoration capabilities that can reverse damage caused by pollution, radiation exposure, or other forms of ecological disruption through processes that appear to operate at molecular levels. Their presence in contaminated areas correlates with accelerated recovery rates that exceed natural remediation timelines by significant margins. The mechanisms underlying these restoration abilities involve manipulation of chemical bonds and atomic structures in ways that neutralize harmful substances while restoring beneficial compounds to their original configurations. These processes occur gradually over time periods that allow ecosystem components to adapt to changing conditions without experiencing shock or disruption. Territorial behaviors of shiny Pokémon reflect sophisticated understanding of resource distribution patterns and carrying capacity limitations that inform their establishment of boundaries that optimize environmental sustainability while minimizing conflict between different populations. Their territories often encompass areas that include diverse habitat types connected by migration corridors that facilitate movement of other species while maintaining ecological connectivity across fragmented landscapes. The boundaries they establish shift seasonally in response to resource availability and environmental conditions, demonstrating adaptive management strategies that balance individual needs with community welfare and ecosystem health considerations. Seasonal migrations undertaken by shiny Pokémon follow routes that traverse multiple climate zones while utilizing stopover locations that provide essential resources during extended journeys spanning thousands of kilometers. These migration patterns appear to follow ancient pathways that have remained stable across geological time periods, suggesting navigation systems that reference permanent landscape features or cosmic markers that persist beyond environmental changes. The timing of their migrations influences the reproductive cycles and movement patterns of numerous other species, creating cascading effects that synchronize biological activities across entire bioregional ecosystems. Memory capabilities of shiny Pokémon demonstrate retention of detailed environmental information spanning multiple decades, with individual creatures maintaining accurate spatial maps that include resource locations, seasonal timing patterns, weather correlations, and population dynamics of associated species across vast territorial ranges. Their memory systems appear to operate through mechanisms that combine individual experience with inherited knowledge passed down through genetic or cultural transmission processes. This accumulated knowledge influences their decision making processes and enables them to serve as environmental guides for other species during periods of ecological uncertainty or rapid environmental change. Symbiotic relationships formed between shiny Pokémon and various plant species create mutually beneficial partnerships that enhance survival capabilities for both organisms while contributing to overall ecosystem stability and productivity. These relationships often involve specific chemical exchanges where the Pokémon provides nutrients or growth factors that enhance plant development while receiving specialized compounds that support their unique metabolic requirements. The plants involved in these symbiotic arrangements frequently develop characteristics that differ significantly from their non associated counterparts, including enhanced resistance to environmental stresses, modified growth patterns, and altered chemical compositions that suggest ongoing evolutionary adaptation to partnership conditions. Weather prediction abilities demonstrated by shiny Pokémon extend beyond simple atmospheric sensitivity to encompass awareness of meteorological patterns developing days or weeks in advance of their manifestation as observable weather events. Their behavioral changes preceding significant weather systems provide early warning indicators that have proven more reliable than technological forecasting methods for predicting localized conditions. These predictive capabilities appear to operate through detection of subtle atmospheric pressure variations, electromagnetic field fluctuations, or other environmental signals that precede major weather pattern formation by considerable time intervals. As consciousness settles into deeper states of rest and contemplation, the endless mysteries surrounding these extraordinary beings continue to unfold through gentle revelation of connections that extend beyond immediate understanding into realms where wonder and knowledge merge in perfect harmony, where each discovered truth opens doorways to greater mysteries that invite exploration through patient observation and quiet appreciation of the intricate patterns that weave through every aspect of existence, reminding us that the universe contains layers of beauty and complexity that reward those who approach with reverence and openness to receive the subtle teachings that flow continuously from every moment of authentic connection with the living world that surrounds and sustains all beings in networks of relationship that extend infinitely outward into the vast tapestry of creation itself. The subtle luminescence often associated with shiny Pokémon, while visually striking, also plays a crucial role in their ecological interactions and communication systems. This faint yet persistent glow is not merely a superficial aesthetic, but rather an intricate biological phenomenon, a form of bioluminescence or structural coloration that serves multiple vital functions. Researchers have identified various pigments and protein structures within the cellular matrix of shiny Pokémon that are responsible for this unique light emission. These pigments, often derived from specialized diets or synthesized internally through complex metabolic pathways, interact with incoming light at a subatomic level, absorbing certain wavelengths and re-emitting others, resulting in the distinctive hues that differentiate them from their non-shiny counterparts. The intensity and specific color spectrum of this luminescence can vary depending on the Pokemon's emotional state, health, and even environmental conditions. For instance, a shiny Pokemon under duress might exhibit a flickering or muted glow, signaling distress to others of its kind or even to sympathetic species within its habitat. Conversely, a healthy and content shiny Pokemon might radiate a steady, vibrant luminescence, indicating its well being and readiness for social interaction or mating displays. This light, therefore, acts as a sophisticated visual language, conveying nuanced information that is readily understood by those attuned to its subtle variations. Beyond emotional signaling, the luminescence of shiny Pokemon also serves practical purposes in their daily lives. In dimly lit environments, such as deep caves or dense forests at night, their glow can act as a natural light source, aiding navigation and foraging for food. This would be particularly beneficial for nocturnal, shiny Pokemon, allowing them to traverse their territories with greater ease and efficiency, reducing the risk of encountering predators or hazardous terrain. Furthermore, the light can attract specific prey species that are drawn to particular wavelengths, turning the Pokemon's unique characteristic into an evolutionary advantage in hunting. In some aquatic, shiny Pokémon, the luminescence has been observed to deter predators. The sudden flash or sustained glow can disorient or startle potential threats, giving the shiny Pokémon a crucial moment to escape. This defensive mechanism is often paired with specific behavioral patterns, such as sudden bursts of speed or evasive maneuvers, maximizing the effectiveness of their luminous display as a survival tool. The composition of the light itself, whether it's a steady beam, a pulsating rhythm, or a shimmering dance, can communicate different messages, creating a rich tapestry of nonverbal communication within their ecosystems. The genetic basis for shininess is a fascinating area of ongoing study. While it is generally understood to be a rare genetic mutation, the precise mechanisms of its inheritance and expression are still being unraveled. Current theories suggest that a combination of dominant and recessive genes, along with environmental factors, contribute to the manifestation of the shiny phenotype. Some researchers propose that specific regulatory genes, which control the expression of pigment-producing pathways, might be involved, leading to the altered coloration. The rarity of shiny Pokémon suggests that the genes responsible for this trait are either recessive and require two copies to be expressed, or that the mutation itself is infrequent and has a low probability of occurring during gamete formation. The concept of a shiny gene is often discussed in research circles, hypothesizing the existence of a specific genetic locus that, when altered or expressed in a particular way, leads to the distinctive coloration. This gene might interact with other genes responsible for melanin production, carotenoid synthesis, or structural protein formation, leading to the wide spectrum of shiny colors observed across different Pokemon species. The fact that shininess can manifest in such diverse ways, from subtle hue shifts to dramatic color inversions, points to the complexity of the underlying genetic architecture. Environmental factors, while not directly causing the genetic mutation, may play a role in its expression or survival. For example, a shiny Pokemon with a particularly vibrant coloration might be more conspicuous in certain environments, making it more vulnerable to predators. Conversely, in other environments, the altered coloration could provide a unique form of camouflage, allowing it to blend in with specific elements of its surroundings that non shiny variants cannot. This interplay between genetics and environment highlights the dynamic nature of evolution and how even seemingly aesthetic traits can have profound ecological implications. The behavioral patterns of shiny Pokemon also merits close attention. While their fundamental instincts and species specific behaviors generally align with their non shiny counterparts, subtle differences have been observed in their social interactions and territorial habits. Some anecdotal evidence suggests that shiny Pokemon may exhibit a heightened sense of awareness or a more cautious demeanor, perhaps due to their unique appearance, making them more noticeable. This increased vigilance could be an adaptive response to their rarity, as they might be more susceptible to capture or targeting by trainers and other creatures. In certain social species, shiny Pokemon have been observed to hold positions of respect or even leadership within their groups. Their distinct coloration might be perceived as a mark of individuality or strength, granting them a certain social status. This phenomenon is not unlike observations in other animal kingdoms, where rare or unusually colored individuals sometimes acquire elevated social standing within their packs or herds. This could be due to an innate recognition of their uniqueness, or perhaps because their altered appearance is associated with a superior genetic makeup, which could be beneficial for the overall gene pool of the group. The concept of shiny hunting among trainers, while not a natural phenomenon, has inadvertently generated a wealth of behavioral data on shiny Pokemon. Observations during these hunts indicate that shiny Pokemon, despite their rarity, do not inherently possess superior combat abilities or intelligence compared to their non shiny counterparts. Their statistical attributes, such as attack, defense, speed, and special attack, are typically within the normal range for their species. This reinforces the notion that shininess is primarily a cosmetic variation, a testament to the diverse and sometimes unpredictable outcomes of genetic processes. However, the psychological impact of being a shiny Pokemon, both on the Pokemon itself and on those who encounter it, is undeniable. For the Pokemon, its unique appearance might lead to different experiences from a young age, shaping its personality and interaction patterns. For trainers, the discovery of a shiny Pokemon is often an exhilarating and memorable event, imbuing the encounter with a sense of wonder and profound significance. This emotional connection, while subjective, contributes to the rich tapestry of lore and appreciation surrounding these special creatures. The cultural significance of shiny Pokemon extends beyond the realm of biological interest, permeating into the broader human consciousness. They represent rarity, luck, and the unexpected beauty that can arise from genetic variation. In many cultures, the appearance of a rare or uniquely colored animal is often seen as an omen, a sign of good fortune, or a symbol of something extraordinary. This cultural perception translates directly to the reverence and excitement surrounding shiny Pokémon, turning them into a kind of living legend within the Pokémon world. From a philosophical perspective, shiny Pokémon invite contemplation on the nature of individuality and the subtle ways in which variation contributes to the richness of life. They remind us that even within a species, there is an incredible spectrum of possibilities, and that deviation from the norm can be a source of wonder and beauty rather than an anomaly to be corrected. Their existence challenges us to look beyond superficial appearances and appreciate the intricate genetic dance that creates such diverse and captivating forms of life. The long-term ecological impact of shiny Pokémon, while subtle due to their rarity, is not entirely negligible. Their unique coloration can influence predator-prey dynamics, mating choices, and even the dispersal of genetic material within a population. While not a dominant force in shaping ecosystems, their presence adds another layer of complexity to the intricate web of life, a testament to the endless variations and adaptations that drive evolutionary processes. In the realm of communication, the ability of shiny Pokémon to emit light or display unique color patterns offers another avenue for exploration. Beyond simple visual signaling, there is speculation that some shiny Pokémon might utilize electromagnetic frequencies or other forms of energy undetectable to the human eye for long-distance communication or navigation. This highly speculative but intriguing possibility opens up new frontiers for understanding their unique sensory capabilities and how they interact with the world on a deeper, more profound level. As the quiet hours drift by and the mind gently unwinds, the journey through the world of shiny Pokémon continues to offer new insights, subtle textures, and profound connections. Each piece of information, each whispered fact, slowly builds a richer understanding of these extraordinary beings, whose rarity and beauty serve as a constant reminder of the endless wonders that lie hidden within the natural world. The gentle flow of knowledge, like a calm river, carries the listener deeper into a state of serene contemplation, where the boundaries between observer and observed begin to soften, and the intricate dance of life unfolds in all its quiet glory. The shimmering light of a shiny Pokémon, even in imagination, casts a calming glow, a beacon of peace in the vastness of existence, inviting a deeper, more resonant rest. The very concept of a shiny Pokémon, with its altered color palette, touches upon an almost universal human fascination with variation and uniqueness. It speaks to our innate desire to discover, to stumble upon something truly special amidst the commonplace. This is mirrored in nature by phenomena such as albino animals, which, despite their potential disadvantages in survival, often inspire awe and a sense of wonder due to their striking appearance. The rarity of shiny Pokémon, often cited as a 1 in 40 or 96 chance in many mainline games, or even rarer in older titles, elevates them beyond mere collectibles. They become trophies of perseverance, testaments to patience, and symbols of good fortune. This statistical improbability is a cornerstone of their mystique, transforming each encounter into a small, personal triumph, a moment of delight that resonates deeply within the player. Consider the early days of Pokémon, when the concept of shiny Pokémon was first introduced with the red Gyarados in Pokémon Gold and Silver. This pre-scripted encounter, served as a pivotal moment, not just within the game's narrative, but also for the entire franchise. It was a deliberate, yet subtle, unveiling of a new layer of depth, hinting at hidden possibilities within the familiar creatures. The red Gyarados, glistening unmistakably in its crimson scales, wasn't just a different color, it represented a paradigm shift, an invitation to look closer, to question what else might be lurking just beyond the visible. This singular event has sparked a generation of hunters, meticulously resetting their games, breeding countless eggs, and engaging in repetitive encounters, all in pursuit of that elusive shimmer. The methods for acquiring shiny Pokémon have evolved considerably over the years, reflecting both advancements in game design and a deepening understanding of player psychology. From the rudimentary but effective soft resetting of older titles, where players would restart their consoles repeatedly at the sight of a non shiny target, to more sophisticated in game mechanics, each generation has offered new avenues for these dedicated hunters. The Masuda method, for instance, introduced in Generation 4, capitalized on the idea of international breeding. By pairing two Pokemon of different language origins, the odds of hatching a shiny egg were dramatically increased, making the once daunting task of breeding for shinies a more manageable, albeit still time-consuming endeavor. This method not only fostered a sense of global community among players, but also subtly encouraged interaction and exchange of Pokemon across different linguistic regions, weaving a deeper tapestry of connection within the game's world. Later generations brought forth even more refined techniques, such as chain fishing, a relatively simple yet highly engaging method where consecutively reeling in Pokemon without breaking the chain significantly boosted shiny encounter rates. This particular approach transformed the often mundane act of fishing in Pokemon games into a thrilling, high-stakes endeavor where each successful cast brought the player closer to that coveted sparkle. Similarly, the introduction of the shiny charm, a key item that permanently increases the chances of encountering shiny Pokemon, marked a significant acknowledgement by the developers of the enduring popularity of shiny hunting. This item, usually awarded after completing the regional or national Pokédex, serves as a tangible reward for dedicated players, a symbol of their commitment, and a facilitator for future shiny endeavors. It subtly shifts the dynamic from pure luck to a blend of preparation and persistence, rewarding those who invest time in understanding the game's world. Beyond the mechanics, the very aesthetic of shiny Pokemon plays a crucial role in their appeal. The color changes are not arbitrary. They are meticulously crafted by the game designers, often drawing inspiration from real-world biological phenomena, mythological references, or simply artistic flair. A subtle shift from blue to purple, or a dramatic transformation from green to black, each alteration is designed to evoke a sense of novelty and wonder. These color variations can sometimes be strikingly beautiful, enhancing the Pokemon's original design, while others might be more understated, requiring a keener eye to discern the difference. This spectrum of visual changes adds another layer of appreciation, as players often debate which shiny forms are the most aesthetically pleasing, contributing to a vibrant community discourse. The emotional connection players form with their shiny Pokemon is also a significant aspect of their allure. Unlike regularly encountered Pokemon, A shiny creature often carries a story of its acquisition, a tale of perseverance, a stroke of luck, or a memorable journey. This narrative imbues the Pokemon with a unique personal value, transforming it from a mere collection item into a cherished companion. For many, a shiny Pokemon is not just a digital asset, it is a symbol of their dedication, a testament to their patience, and a powerful reminder of a specific moment of joy and accomplishment within their gaming experience. This emotional investment is what truly elevates shiny Pokemon beyond a simple recolor, making them deeply meaningful to their owners. The cultural impact of shiny Pokemon extends beyond the confines of the game itself. They have inspired countless fan art creations, elaborate theories, and dedicated online communities. YouTube channels are dedicated solely to showcasing shiny hunts, live streams document hours of patient searching, and forums buzz with discussions about the best methods and the most coveted shiny forms. This vibrant ecosystem of fan engagement demonstrates the profound influence these rare creatures have had on the broader Pokemon fandom, fostering a sense of shared passion and collective pursuit. The very act of sharing a shiny discovery, whether through a screenshot or a video, becomes a celebratory event, a moment of connection with like-minded enthusiasts. Furthermore, the concept of shiny Pokemon subtly reinforces an important lesson about appreciating diversity. While the standard colorations are familiar and beloved, the shiny forms remind us that beauty can manifest in unexpected ways. They encourage players to look beyond the norm, to recognize and celebrate unique variations, and to find value in what is different. This underlying message, while perhaps not explicitly intended, resonates deeply in a world that increasingly values individuality and uniqueness. It teaches a gentle lesson about the richness that variation brings to any population, be it fictional creatures or real-life ecosystems. The scientific underpinnings, or rather, the speculative scientific underpinnings, of shiny Pokemon are also a fascinating area of contemplation. In the real world, color variations in animals can be attributed to genetic mutations affecting pigment production, such as albinism, melanism, or leucism. While shiny Pokemon don't strictly adhere to these biological categories, their existence within the Pokemon universe implies a similar genetic anomaly. One could theorize that shiny Pokemon possess a specific gene or a combination of genes that alters their chromatophore development, leading to their distinct coloration. This hypothetical genetic quirk could be a recessive trait, explaining its rarity, or perhaps a somatic mutation occurring spontaneously during development. Imagine a Pokemon's cellular structure, where specialized cells, much like melanocytes in animals, are responsible for producing the vibrant hues we observe. In a shiny Pokemon, these cells might be programmed differently, perhaps producing a different spectrum of light-absorbing pigments, or even reflecting light in a unique way that results in their altered appearance. This biological perspective, even when applied to fictional creatures, grounds their existence in a plausible framework, making them feel more intrinsically connected to the natural world, albeit a fantastical one. The rarity could then be attributed to the low probability of inheriting two copies of a recessive shiny gene, or the minuscule chance of a spontaneous mutation occurring at the precise moment of conception or early embryonic development. Moreover, the impact of these color changes on a shiny Pokemon's survival in the wild is another intriguing thought experiment. While in the games, the shiny Pokemon are functionally identical to their regular counterparts, in a hypothetical ecosystem, their unique coloration could have both advantages and disadvantages. A brightly colored, shiny Pokemon might be more conspicuous to predators, increasing its vulnerability. Conversely, a darker or camouflaged shiny might have an evolutionary advantage, allowing it to blend more effectively into its environment. In terms of mating, a strikingly colored shiny might be seen as more attractive to potential mates, signaling genetic strength or uniqueness, or it might be ostracized due to its unusual appearance. These subtle ecological implications, even if never explicitly explored in the games, add a layer of depth to the lore, making shiny Pokemon not just rare collectibles, but biologically plausible within their own universe, entities with their own set of ecological challenges and advantages. The very process of searching for a shiny Pokemon can be likened to a meditative practice. The repetitive actions, the sustained focus, and the quiet anticipation can induce a state of flow where the external world fades away and the mind becomes fully immersed in the task at hand. This almost ritualistic pursuit, whether it involves hatching hundreds of eggs or encountering thousands of wild Pokemon, demands patience and a certain degree of mental discipline. For many, this process itself is as rewarding as the eventual discovery of a shiny. It offers a quiet escape, a structured activity that allows for a gentle winding down of the mind, a soothing rhythm in a world often characterized by its relentless pace. As the gentle hum of contemplation continues, it becomes clear that shiny Pokemon are far more than just rare recolors. They are cultural touchstones, statistical marvels, artistic expressions, and a testament to the enduring power of variation and discovery. Their existence enriches the Pokemon universe in myriad ways, inviting us to look deeper, to appreciate the subtle differences, and to find joy in the unexpected. The soft glow of an imagined shiny, perhaps a golden Ponyta or a black Charizard, serves as a comforting presence in the mind's eye, a beacon of peaceful beauty that encourages a deeper relaxation, a more profound sense of calm. The journey through their lore, like a gentle lullaby, guides the thoughts towards a quiet stillness, preparing the mind and body for the embrace of a peaceful, undisturbed rest. The subtle sparkle, a whisper of wonder, guides one gently towards the edge of dreams, where the extraordinary becomes commonplace, and the soft luminescence of these unique creatures lights the path to slumber. The concept of rarity itself, so central to the allure of shiny Pokemon, is a fascinating psychological construct. Humans are inherently drawn to things that are scarce, that require effort to obtain. This scarcity imbues objects, and in this case, digital creatures, with a heightened sense of value and desirability. The 1 in 4096 base odds, a number that for many represents an insurmountable statistical barrier, only serves to amplify the thrill when those odds are defied. It transforms a simple color palette swap into a trophy, a badge of honor earned through perseverance and a touch of serendipity. This psychological phenomenon, often called the scarcity principle, is a powerful motivator, driving collectors and enthusiasts to invest countless hours in their pursuit. It speaks to our innate desire for unique possessions, for items that set us apart, demonstrating a dedication and perhaps even a stroke of luck that others might not possess. Consider the early days of shiny Pokémon back in the second generation games, Pokémon Gold, Silver, and Crystal. The very first shiny, or at least the first one many players encountered, was often the red Gyarados found in the Lake of Rage. This was a guaranteed shiny encounter, a deliberate design choice by Game Freak to introduce players to this novel concept. It served as a powerful tutorial, showcasing the visual difference and the distinct sound effect that accompanied a shiny appearance. For many, this red Gyarados was their first tangible experience with a shiny, sparking a lifelong fascination. It was a moment of wonder, a glimpse into a hidden layer of the Pokémon world, a world where even the most familiar creatures could appear in unexpected, vibrant hues. This initial guaranteed encounter, while breaking the typical rarity rules, was instrumental in establishing the cultural significance of shiny Pokémon. It planted the seed of desire, the understanding that such a thing could exist, and that perhaps, with enough effort, more could be found. The shift in shiny odds across generations is also a point of interest. From the original 1 in 8192 in generations 2 through 5 to the more favorable 1 in 4096 from generation 6 onwards, these changes reflect an evolving understanding of player engagement and satisfaction. While some purists might prefer the ultra-rare original odds, the more accessible one in 4096 maintains a significant challenge while making the pursuit a bit less daunting for the average player. This adjustment, along with the introduction of various shiny hunting methods, has democratized the shiny hunting experience to some extent, allowing more trainers to experience the joy of finding these elusive creatures. It's a delicate balance, maintaining the prestige of rarity while ensuring that the pursuit remains attainable enough to be engaging for a broad audience. The underlying mathematical principles, the probability distributions, and the sheer number of possible encounters required for even a statistically average hunt all contribute to the intellectual appeal of shiny hunting. It's a subtle form of applied statistics, played out in a vibrant digital world. The various methods of shiny hunting themselves are a testament to the ingenuity of the Pokémon community. From the methodical Masuda method of breeding foreign language Pokémon, which significantly increases the odds of hatching a shiny, to chain fishing, chain battling, SOS battles, and Dynamax adventures, each generation has introduced new mechanics that players have meticulously optimized for shiny acquisition. The Masuda method, named after Game Freak director Junichi Masuda, who first revealed its existence, is particularly fascinating. It leverages the concept of genetic diversity, suggesting that offspring from parents of different linguistic origins are more likely to exhibit genetic mutations, including the shiny phenotype. This subtle nod to real-world genetic principles, even if simplified for gameplay purposes, adds a layer of scientific intrigue to the breeding process. The image of a dedicated trainer cycling back and forth, hatching hundreds of eggs, each one a tiny chance at a sparkling miracle, is a powerful one. It's a testament to hope, perseverance, and the quiet dedication that defines many aspects of the Pokémon experience. The visual design of shiny Pokémon is another rich area of discussion. While some shinies are universally beloved for their striking color changes, such as the black Charizard, the pink Celebi, or the golden Magikarp and Gyarados, others are notoriously subtle, barely distinguishable from their regular counterparts. Pokemon like Garchomp, Gengar, and Espeon are often cited as examples of shinies that received minimal color alterations, leading to a sense of mild disappointment for some hunters. This disparity in design quality adds another layer to the shiny hunting experience. The anticipation of finding a shiny is often accompanied by the hope that its alternate color scheme will be aesthetically pleasing and distinctly different. The community often expresses its preferences, sometimes even creating fan made, fixed, shiny sprites for those Pokemon whose official shiny forms are deemed underwhelming. This collective engagement with the aesthetics of shiny Pokemon highlights the strong emotional connection players have to these creatures and their visual presentation. It's not just about rarity, it's also about the beauty and impact of the design itself. The cultural impact of shiny Pokemon extends beyond the games themselves. They are highly sought after in trading communities, commanding significant value. The concept of shiny locks, where certain legendary or event Pokemon are programmatically prevented from appearing as shiny, only heightens the desirability of those that can be found. This adds a layer of exclusivity and challenge, as trainers often spend countless hours resetting their games in hopes of encountering a shiny legendary, a truly monumental undertaking that tests the limits of patience and dedication. The emotional response upon finding a shiny, whether it's a gasp of surprise, a shout of joy, or a quiet sigh of relief, is a shared experience among trainers worldwide. It's a moment of pure, unadulterated triumph, a validation of effort, and a reward for persistence. The sound effect associated with a shiny Pokemon's appearance is also an iconic element. The distinctive sparkle, a shimmering cascade of light accompanied by a unique sound, instantly signals the presence of something special. This auditory cue is as important as the visual change, alerting players even when their attention might be momentarily diverted. It's a subtle but powerful reinforcement, a Pavlovian bell that triggers an immediate sense of excitement and anticipation. This multisensory experience further embeds the concept of shiny Pokemon into the player's consciousness, solidifying their status as truly unique and desirable creatures. The quiet tension of exploring a new area, always listening for that telltale shimmer, becomes a constant undertone for many dedicated players. Beyond the numbers and the aesthetics, shiny Pokemon offer a deeply personal experience. Each shiny found often comes with a story, a memory of the hunt, the location, the specific circumstances of its appearance. These stories are shared among friends, celebrated in online communities, and cherished by individual trainers. A shiny isn't just a collection of pixels, it's a testament to personal dedication, a small victory in a vast digital world. It represents hours of effort, a moment of unexpected joy, and a unique bond with a virtual companion. This personal narrative, woven into the fabric of each shiny acquisition, elevates them beyond mere collectibles, transforming them into cherished mementos of one's journey through the Pokemon universe. The quiet reflection on these journeys, the gentle recall of past triumphs and patient endeavors, can bring a profound sense of contentment. Even the act of contemplating the vastness of the Pokemon universe, with its hundreds of species, each with a regular and a shiny form, can be a calming exercise. Imagining a complete collection of every shiny Pokemon, a vibrant rainbow of creatures, is a truly monumental thought. It speaks to the sheer scale of the world that Game Freak has created, a world continually expanding and offering new possibilities for discovery. The thought of encountering a shiny in the wild, perhaps a rare moment of serendipity during a casual playthrough, or the deliberate pursuit of a specific shiny through dedicated hunting, both offer their own unique pleasures. The serendipitous encounter is a delightful surprise, a gift from the game itself, while the dedicated hunt is a hard-won victory, a testament to one's own resolve. Both paths lead to the same quiet satisfaction, the same gentle thrill of recognizing something truly special. The presence of shiny Pokémon subtly reinforces themes of individuality and acceptance within the Pokémon narrative. Just as people come in all shapes, sizes, and colors, so too do Pokémon. A shiny Pokémon, with its distinct appearance, stands out from its regular counterparts, yet it is still fundamentally the same creature, possessing the same abilities, stats, and spirit. This underlying message, even if not explicitly stated, resonates with many, highlighting the beauty in difference and the value of uniqueness. It's a gentle reminder that what makes something special can often be its divergence from the norm, its unique sparkle in a sea of familiarity. This quiet philosophy, embedded within the fabric of the game, adds a layer of depth to the pursuit of these colorful variants. As the quiet contemplation of these shimmering wonders continues, the mind begins to drift, gently carried by the soft current of these facts and observations. The image of a sparkling Pokémon, perhaps one of your own cherished companions, dances at the periphery of thought, a comforting presence. The rarity, the hunt, the shared stories, the subtle visual changes all blend into a harmonious tapestry of lore, a soothing hum that guides the mind towards deeper relaxation. The gentle rhythm of discovery, the quiet satisfaction of understanding, and the soft glow of imagined treasures combine to create a tranquil space. The pursuit of these radiant creatures, whether in the waking world of games or in the soft shadows of a drifting mind, is a journey of peace, a quiet adventure into the heart of rarity and wonder. The subtle sparkle that marks a shiny Pokémon, a beacon of unique beauty, serves as a gentle guide, leading the imagination towards a state of profound calm, where the vibrant world of Pokémon seamlessly blends into the comforting embrace of sleep. The history of shiny Pokémon, while deeply ingrained in the fabric of the games now, wasn't always a feature. It began quite unexpectedly with the release of Pokémon Gold and Silver in 1999. In these groundbreaking second-generation games, certain Pokémon could appear in different colorations, something entirely new to the franchise. This wasn't a deliberate design choice at first to introduce shiny Pokémon as a distinct concept, but rather an emergent property of the game's mechanics. The original shiny Pokémon, most famously the red Gyarados found in the Lake of Rage, was a fixed encounter, a narrative event that introduced players to the idea of differently colored Pokémon without explicitly calling them shiny. This particular Gyarados was guaranteed to be red, a stark contrast to its usual blue, serving as a pivotal moment in the story where Team Rocket's nefarious plans were revealed. This guaranteed encounter, however, was an exception. For all other Pokémon in Gold and Silver, the chance of encountering a shiny was tied to their individual values, or IVs, a set of hidden numbers that determine a Pokémon's stats. Specifically, if a Pokémon had certain IVs in its attack, defense, special, and speed stats, it would be rendered in its alternate color palette. This probability was a very specific 1 in 8,192, a number that has since become iconic in the community. This initial implementation meant that shiny Pokémon were not just rare, but their rarity was directly linked to their statistical potential, albeit in a somewhat convoluted way. A shiny Pokémon from this era was not necessarily a statistically superior Pokémon, but its unique coloration was a direct result of its IV spread. This made them feel even more like a natural, if uncommon, variation within the Pokémon world, lending them an organic sense of specialness. As the series progressed into the third generation with Ruby and Sapphire, the underlying mechanics changed. The concept of IVs determining shininess was removed, and a new system was introduced based on a Pokemon's personality value, a hidden 32-bit number, and the player's trainer ID and secret ID. This new algorithm meant that the likelihood of encountering a shiny remained the same at 1 in 8,192, but it was no longer tied to the Pokemon's stats. This shift made shiny Pokemon purely aesthetic rarities, their values stemming solely from their distinct appearance rather than any hidden statistical advantage. This change simplified the understanding of shininess, making it a more straightforward visual anomaly. It also laid the groundwork for future generations to refine and eventually increase the odds of finding these treasured variants. The 1 in 8,192 odds persisted for several generations, from Ruby and Sapphire all the way through Diamond and Pearl, Platinum, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Black and White, and Black 2 and White 2. For over a decade, this was the standard, a formidable challenge for any dedicated hunter. The commitment required to find a shiny under these odds was immense, often involving thousands of encounters, resets, or hours of breeding. This prolonged period of ultra rarity cemented the legendary status of shiny Pokémon within the community. The stories of players spending hundreds of hours to find a beloved shiny became part of the lore itself, adding to the mystique and allure of these elusive creatures. The dawn of the 6th generation with Pokémon X and Y brought about a significant and much welcomed change to shiny hunting. The base odds were effectively halved, dropping from 1 in 8,192 to 1 in 4,096. This was a substantial increase in the chances of finding a shiny, making the pursuit slightly less daunting while still maintaining a considerable level of rarity. This generation also introduced new methods that further increased these odds, such as the Friend Safari, where shiny rates were significantly higher, and the Poke Radar, a tool that allowed players to chain encounters, raising the likelihood of a shiny appearance with longer chains. The Shiny Charm, an item first introduced in Black 2 and White 2, but becoming more widely utilized in subsequent games, also played a crucial role. Obtaining the Shiny Charm, typically by completing the regional or national Pokédex, permanently triples the base shiny odds, making the hunt considerably more manageable. This incentive to complete the Pokédex added another layer of engagement to the game, rewarding persistent players with a tangible benefit in their shiny endeavors. The introduction of these mechanics signaled a shift in Game Freak's approach, acknowledging the community's passion for shiny hunting and providing more accessible avenues for players to engage with it. The concept of mass outbreaks in newer games, particularly with Pokémon Legends, Arceus, and Scarlet and Violet, has further revolutionized shiny hunting. These outbreaks feature a significant number of a single species of Pokémon, often clustered together. Within these outbreaks, the shiny odds are dramatically boosted, sometimes as high as 1 in 136, with a shiny charm and other conditions met. This method transforms shiny hunting from a solitary, often tedious endeavor into a more dynamic and engaging activity, encouraging exploration and strategic engagement with the game world. These outbreaks, along with other specialized methods like sandwich powers in Scarlet and Violet that temporarily increase shiny rates for specific types, have made shiny Pokemon more attainable than ever before. While some purists might argue that this diminishes their rarity, it has undoubtedly opened up the world of shiny hunting to a broader audience, allowing more players to experience the joy of finding these unique variants. The current generation embraces the idea that shinies are a core part of the Pokemon experience, not just a fringe activity for dedicated enthusiasts. Beyond the main series games, shiny Pokemon have also made their way into spin off titles and mobile games, albeit with varying implementations. Pokemon Go, for instance, features a continuous rotation of shiny Pokemon, often tied to special events like Community Days, where a specific Pokemon's shiny rate is significantly increased for a limited time. This mobile platform has introduced millions of new players to the concept of shiny Pokemon, making them a globally recognized phenomenon. The immediate visual feedback and the social aspect of sharing shiny finds in Pokemon Go create a different yet equally engaging experience. Similarly, other spin offs like Pokemon Shuffle and Pokemon Quest have incorporated shiny Pokemon in their own unique ways, adapting the concept to fit their respective gameplay mechanics. This widespread integration across the Pokemon multimedia landscape underscores the enduring appeal and importance of shiny Pokemon as a beloved feature. They have transcended their initial accidental origins to become an indispensable part of the Pokemon universe, a constant source of excitement and discovery for players worldwide. The visual changes that define shiny Pokemon are incredibly diverse, ranging from subtle alterations that require a keen eye to dramatic transformations that are impossible to miss. Some shiny Pokemon, like Garchomp or Gengar, are often cited as examples of disappointing shinies because their color changes are so minimal, often just a slightly different shade or tint that is barely discernible from their regular forms. Gengar, for instance, goes from a dark purple to a slightly lighter purple, a change that can be easily overlooked in the heat of battle or even during a casual encounter. Garchomp's shiny form shifts from dark blue to a slightly darker shade, almost imperceptible without a direct comparison. These subtle shinies highlight the random nature of their initial design, as they weren't always intentionally crafted to be visually striking. However, even these subtle changes hold appeal for some players, representing a true hidden gem that only the most dedicated eyes can appreciate. On the other end of the spectrum are the truly spectacular shiny transformations, where a Pokemon's color palette undergoes a complete overhaul, resulting in a visually stunning and often iconic new appearance. Charizard's shiny form, with its sleek black body and red wings, is arguably one of the most famous and sought-after shinies. This striking change elevates Charizard's already formidable presence, making its shiny variant a symbol of prestige and rarity. Similarly, the brilliant gold of a shiny Magikarp, which evolves into the majestic red Gyarados, is another classic example of a dramatic and highly desirable shiny. Other beloved examples include Rayquaza's sleek black form, Metagross's silver and gold metallic sheen, and Umbreon's stunning black and blue coloration. These dramatic shinies often become fan favorites, inspiring players to dedicate countless hours to obtaining them. The contrast between these dramatic changes and the more subtle ones adds to the charm of shiny hunting, as each encounter holds the potential for a truly breathtaking discovery. The anticipation of what a Pokemon's shiny form might look like, especially for newly introduced Pokemon, is a significant part of the community's excitement leading up to new game releases. The design philosophy behind shiny Pokemon has evolved over time. In the earlier generations, the color palettes for shinies were often generated algorithmically, leading to some unexpected and occasionally less than ideal combinations. This explains why some shinies are so similar to their regular forms, while others are wildly different. It wasn't until later generations that Game Freak began to intentionally design shiny forms, ensuring that each Pokemon had a distinct and appealing alternate coloration. This deliberate design choice has led to a greater consistency in the quality and visual impact of newer shiny Pokemon, with many of them featuring thoughtfully chosen color schemes that complement their original designs. For example, some shinies play on themes related to the Pokemon's type or lore, while others simply aim for an aesthetically pleasing contrast. This evolution in design reflects the growing importance of shiny Pokemon within the franchise and the community's appreciation for these unique variants. The care taken in designing these alternate forms now speaks to their status as cherished collectibles, a testament to the enduring appeal of difference and distinctiveness within the Pokemon world. The quiet contemplation of these subtle and dramatic transformations, these whispers of color, lulls the mind into a state of serene acceptance, a gentle appreciation for the artistry of both nature and design, as the soft currents of thought carry you further into tranquil repose. The journey of a trainer seeking these elusive creatures is often long and arduous, a testament to their dedication and patience. The methods for encountering shiny Pokemon have varied throughout the generations, each presenting its own unique challenges and strategies. In the earliest games, the discovery of a shiny Pokemon was almost entirely a matter of pure chance, a miraculous stroke of luck in the vast wilderness of the Pokemon world. The odds were astronomically high, making each encounter a truly unforgettable event. Imagine, if you will, the quiet joy of stumbling upon a gleaming, unusually colored Pokemon in the tall grass without any prior knowledge or expectation. This initial serendipity laid the groundwork for the deep fascination that would grow around these rare variants. As the franchise evolved, so too did the methods available to trainers hoping to increase their chances. The introduction of the Masuda method in Generation 4, named after Game Freak director Junichi Masuda, revolutionized shiny breeding. This technique involves breeding two Pokemon from different real-world language versions of the game. For instance, if you breed a Japanese Ditto with an English Charmander, the chances of the offspring being shiny are significantly increased. This method transformed shiny hunting from a purely wild encounter lottery into a more controlled, albeit still time-consuming process. Trainers could now systematically hatch hundreds or even thousands of eggs, each one a tiny chance at a sparkling discovery. The rhythmic act of collecting eggs, cycling around in circles to hatch them, and then releasing the non shiny offspring became a meditative practice for many, a quiet dedication to their goal. The repetition, the expectation, the eventual triumph all contribute to the unique allure of the Masuda method. Beyond breeding, other strategies emerge to aid the dedicated shiny hunter. Chain fishing, introduced in Generation 6, allowed players to increase their shiny odds by continuously fishing without moving or failing to hook a Pokemon. Each successful catch in the chain incrementally improved the likelihood of a shiny appearance, turning fishing from a casual pastime into a focused, high stakes endeavor. Similarly, the concept of chaining wild Pokemon in games like Pokemon X and Y, and later refined in Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon with SOS battles, offered another avenue. In these scenarios, a wild Pokemon would call for allies, and continuously defeating or capturing these allies without breaking the chain would escalate the shiny odds. These methods required careful planning, resource management, and often a good deal of patience to maintain the chain through countless encounters. The focus required to keep a chain going, to anticipate the next move, to ensure no mistakes are made, can be surprisingly calming as the mind enters a state of focused attention, gently pushing away other distractions. The advent of the shiny charm, an invaluable item introduced in Generation Vive, further amplified a trainer's chances across various methods. Once obtained, this charm permanently boosts the odds of encountering a shiny Pokemon in wild encounters, through breeding, and in various other scenarios. Acquiring the shiny charm itself is a significant undertaking, requiring the completion of the regional Pokédex, a feat that demands exploration, trading, and careful documentation of every Pokemon species. This journey of discovery, filling out the Pokédex, becomes a rewarding prelude to the enhanced shiny hunting experience, making the shiny charm a badge of honor for dedicated collectors. More recent games have introduced even more nuanced and diverse shiny hunting mechanics. Pokemon Let's Go, Pikachu, and Let's Go Eevee featured catch combos, where catching the same species of Pokemon repeatedly would increase the shiny odds for that specific species, encouraging focused hunting in designated areas. Pokemon Sword and Shield introduced brilliant aura Pokemon with improved stats and a higher shiny chance after defeating a certain number of that species. And in Pokemon Legends, Arceus, the concept of massive mass outbreaks, presented large groups of specific Pokemon with significantly boosted shiny rates within these outbreaks, offering a thrilling and often rewarding burst of shiny encounters. This variety of methods ensures that shiny hunting remains fresh and engaging across different game titles, appealing to different playstyles and preferences. Whether it's the quiet dedication of breeding, the focused attention of chaining, or the exhilarating rush of an outbreak, each method offers its own unique rhythm and reward. The community surrounding shiny Pokemon is vibrant and passionate, a testament to the enduring appeal of these rare variants. Online forums, social media groups, and live streaming platforms are filled with trainers sharing their shiny discoveries, discussing hunting strategies, and celebrating each other's successes. The excitement of finally finding a long sought after shiny after hours, days, or even weeks of effort is a shared experience that binds this community together. The shiny reactions, captured on video, showcasing genuine surprise and elation, are a common and heartwarming sight. These moments underscore the emotional investment trainers place in their pursuit, transforming a simple color palette swap into a deeply personal and rewarding achievement. This shared passion extends to intricate spreadsheets tracking shiny odds, detailed guides on optimal hunting routes, and even artistic renditions of beloved shiny forms. The psychological draw of shiny Pokémon is multifaceted. Part of it lies in the inherent human desire for rarity and uniqueness. Owning something that very few others possess, something that required significant effort to acquire, provides a sense of accomplishment and prestige. The distinct coloration makes a shiny Pokémon immediately stand out, a visual trophy that proclaims the trainer's dedication. Furthermore, the element of chance, even when odds are improved, keeps the thrill alive. Each encounter, each hatched egg, holds the potential for that sparkling animation, that moment of delightful surprise. This intermittent reinforcement, where rewards are unpredictable but highly desirable, is a powerful psychological driver that encourages continued engagement. The anticipation, the hope, the eventual payoff all combine to create a compelling gameplay loop that can be surprisingly meditative in its repetition. Beyond the allure of rarity, the aesthetic appeal of many shiny forms is undeniable. Some, like the black Rayquaza or the pink Celebi, are simply stunning to look at, offering a fresh perspective on familiar designs. For trainers who have spent countless hours with the regular forms of their favorite Pokémon, a shiny variant can reignite their appreciation, offering a new way to connect with a beloved character. This artistic reinterpretation adds another layer of depth to the Pokémon world, showcasing the versatility of its creature designs. The subtle differences in shade or hue, the dramatic shifts in primary colors, each shiny tells a visual story, an alternate possibility of what a Pokémon could be. The quiet pursuit of shiny Pokémon can also be a form of escapism, a soothing, repetitive task that allows the mind to wander while the hands perform a simple, focused action. For some, it's a way to unwind after a busy day, a low-stress activity that provides a sense of progress and accomplishment. The rhythmic clicking of buttons, the gentle repetition of encounter after encounter, can lead to a state of flow where time seems to melt away and external worries fade into the background. It's a peaceful ritual, a quiet dedication to a small, glittering goal. This gentle engagement, far from being frantic, often settles into a calm, persistent rhythm, a quiet determination that mirrors the slow, steady flow of a peaceful river. The lore, while not explicitly detailing the origins of shiny Pokémon within the game's narrative, often leaves room for interpretation about their uniqueness. Are they simply genetic anomalies, natural mutations that occur randomly in the wild? Or is there a deeper, more mystical reason for their distinct coloration? The games typically present them as rare variants, existing alongside their regular counterparts without much in-universe explanation, allowing players to imbue them with their own meaning. This ambiguity adds to their mystique, allowing each trainer to weave their own narrative around these special creatures. Perhaps they are touched some by a rare cosmic energy, or born under an unusual alignment of stars. The lack of a definitive explanation only enhances their magical quality, making them truly special without needing an overly complex backstory. Consider the sheer variety of shiny Pokemon, each with its own story of discovery. From the vibrant green of a shiny Zubat, a common sight that becomes truly special in its alternate hue, to the regal purple of a shiny Haxorus, transforming its already imposing presence into something even more majestic. The spectrum of change is immense, from barely perceptible shifts to complete overhauls. This diversity ensures that every shiny hunter, regardless of their preferred Pokemon, has a gem waiting to be found. The hunt for a specific shiny can become a deeply personal quest, a journey with a clear, sparkling destination. The act of naming a shiny Pokemon is often a cherished part of the experience. Many trainers choose names that reflect the Pokemon's new color scheme or commemorate the circumstances of its discovery. These personalized names further deepen the bond between trainer and Pokemon, making the shiny not just a rare collectible, but a unique individual with its own identity and story within the trainer's team. This personal touch, this quiet acknowledgement of its specialness, is another layer in the rich tapestry of shiny Pokemon lore. As the quiet hours drift by, the thought of these rare and radiant creatures, shimmering in their unique palettes, invites a gentle introspection. Each hue, each subtle glint of difference, tells a story of patience, of chance, of quiet dedication. The pursuit of these sparkling companions is more than just a game mechanic. It's a journey of discovery, a testament to perseverance, and a celebration of the unique beauty found in variation. The soft glow of a newly discovered shiny, however subtle or dramatic, carries with it the warmth of a quiet triumph, a gentle reminder of the wonders that lie just beyond the ordinary. This peaceful exploration of color and rarity, this gentle unraveling of facts and feelings, guides the mind to a place of tranquil rest, where the shimmering wonders of the Pokemon world gently merge with the soft embrace of slumber. The very essence of a shiny Pokemon, beyond its altered coloration, lies in its statistical identicalness to its regular counterpart. There are no inherent stat boosts, no hidden abilities unlocked, no special moves granted simply by virtue of being shiny. This fact often surprises those new to the world of Pokemon, as the rarity might suggest some form of competitive advantage. However, this intentional design choice by Game Freak reinforces the idea that shinies are primarily aesthetic trophies, a testament to luck and dedication rather than raw power. They are symbols of effort and good fortune, not inherently superior fighters. This distinction is crucial as it allows shinies to exist as a separate category of collectible, not disrupting the competitive balance of the game. A shiny Charizard is just as powerful as a regular Charizard. Its fiery breath equally potent, its wings beating with the same strength. The only difference is the striking black scales that replace its iconic orange, making it a visual standout on the battlefield, a silent declaration of its trainer's commitment to the hunt. Consider the early days of shiny Pokemon, specifically in the second generation games, Pokemon Gold, Silver, and Crystal. Here, the concept was introduced through a rather unique and somewhat accidental method. The game designers at the time were experimenting with different ways to create variation among Pokemon, and the basis for shininess was tied directly to a Pokemon's individual values, or IVs. These hidden numbers determine a Pokemon's stats and are a core mechanic for competitive play. In Generation 2, if a Pokemon had specific IV combinations, for its attack, defense, a special attack, and special defense were combined into one stat in this generation. And speed, it would be rendered as a shiny. Specifically, its defense, special, and speed IVs had to be 10, and its attack 4 had to be 2, 3, 6, 7, 10, 11, 14, or 15. This intricate formula meant that a very small percentage of Pokemon would naturally possess these specific IVs and thus appear as shiny. The odds of encountering such a creature were approximately 1 in 8,192, a number that would become synonymous with shiny hunting for many years to come. This initial implementation had an interesting side effect. Due to the way IVs were passed down through breeding in Generation 2, it was actually possible to breed for shinies with a slightly increased chance, although still incredibly low. If a shiny Pokemon was bred with a Ditto, there was a higher probability that its offspring would inherit some of those specific IVs that contributed to shininess, thus marginally increasing the chances of a shiny baby. This was a precursor to the modern Masuda method, which we will explore later, but it highlights the early accidental depth of the shiny mechanic. The most famous example of a guaranteed shiny in Generation 2, and indeed one of the most iconic shinies in all of Pokemon lore, is the red Gyarados found in the Lake of Rage. This magnificent creature, blazing crimson instead of its usual azure, was a pivotal plot point in the game. Its presence was explained as an anomaly caused by Team Rocket's experiments with evolution-inducing radio waves, making it a very rare in-universe explanation for a shiny. This particular Gyarados served as many players' first encounter with a shiny Pokemon, leaving an indelible mark on their understanding of these special variants. It was a moment of awe and wonder, a clear demonstration of the game's hidden depths and surprising discoveries. As the Pokemon series evolved into its third generation, with Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, the underlying mechanics of shininess underwent a significant change. The IV-based system was abandoned, replaced by a method involving a Pokemon's personality value, a hidden 32-bit number assigned to each Pokemon upon its generation, and the trainer's ID number and secret ID number. When a Pokemon is generated, its personality value is compared against the trainer's IDs. If a specific mathematical operation performed on these values results in a particular outcome, the Pokemon is designated as shiny. The exact formula is complex, involving XOR operations on the high and low 16 bits of the personality value and the trainer's ID and secret ID. The odds, however, remained the same, approximately 1 in 8,192. This new system made shiny Pokemon entirely independent of their IVs, meaning a shiny could have any combination of IVs, good or bad. This also meant the breeding trick from Generation 2 was no longer effective. The introduction of secret IDs was also a critical change, as it added an extra layer of uniqueness to each trainer, making it virtually impossible for two trainers to have the exact same combination of ID and secret ID unless they actively tried to manipulate the system. This era also saw the rise of more dedicated, shiny hunting methods. While the base odds remained constant, players began to understand the underlying mechanics better, leading to strategies like soft resetting. This involves encountering a static encounter Pokemon, like a legendary, checking if it's shiny, and if not, resetting the game without saving to try again. This method, while incredibly time-consuming and often requiring thousands of resets, became a popular way to obtain shiny legendaries, creatures that could typically only be encountered once per save file. The patience and sheer fortitude required for such hunts are legendary among the Pokemon community, sometimes taking hundreds of hours of repetitive actions. Imagine sitting in front of a screen, day after day, resetting your console, hoping for that one sparkling animation, that one color variation that signals success. The dedication is immense, and the payoff, when it finally arrives, is a feeling of unparalleled triumph. With the advent of the fourth generation, Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum, shiny hunting saw its next major evolution, the Masuda method. This technique, named after Junichi Masuda, one of the key developers of the Pokemon series, significantly increases the odds of hatching a shiny Pokemon from an egg. The method involves breeding two Pokemon from games with different real world language settings. For example, breeding a Japanese Ditto with an English Turtwig. When Pokemon from different language regions breed, the game applies a multiplier to the shiny odds. In Generation 4, this multiplier brought the odds down to approximately 1 in 1,638. This was a massive leap from the standard 1 in 8,192, making breeding a much more viable and efficient way to hunt for shinies. The Masuda method quickly became a staple for shiny hunters, allowing them to target specific Pokemon and potentially even influence their IVs, something not possible with wild encounters. The quiet, repetitive act of riding a bicycle around a designated route, hatching eggs one after another, became a meditative practice for many, each new egg a tiny flicker of hope. The fifth generation, Black and White and Black 2 and White 2, continued the Masuda method with the same odds, though it also introduced the concept of the shiny charm. This key item, obtained after completing the National Pokédex, further boosts the shiny odds. With the shiny charm, the base wild encounter odds were reduced to approximately 1 in 2,730, and when combined with the Masuda method, the hatching odds dropped to an astonishing 1 in 1,024. This was a game changer, making shiny hunting significantly more accessible and less time-consuming. The shiny charm became the ultimate goal for many dedicated players, a reward for their extensive efforts in catching every Pokemon, and a tool to make their subsequent shiny hunts even more fruitful. The journey to complete the National Pokédex is a monumental task in itself, requiring exploration, trading, and often several hundred hours of gameplay. To then be rewarded with an item that makes the pursuit of even rarer Pokemon more achievable is a testament to the game's understanding of its dedicated player base. The sixth generation, X and Wabai, and Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire saw the odds for shinies remain consistent with the fifth generation. However, it introduced a new method for increasing shiny encounter rates in the wild, chain fishing. By consecutively reeling in Pokemon while fishing without moving or failing to hook a Pokemon, the chances of encountering a shiny dramatically increased. While the exact odds were not definitively known, anecdotal evidence suggested a significant boost, making this a popular method for obtaining shiny water-type Pokemon. Imagine the quiet bobbing of the fishing rod, the gentle plop as the line hits the water, the tension as you wait for a bite. Each successful catch brings you closer to that shimmering, unique color. This era also introduced Horde encounters, where 5 wild Pokemon would appear at once. While not a direct shiny boosting method, it effectively meant 5 chances at a shiny with each encounter, indirectly increasing the overall likelihood of finding one in the wild. In the 7th generation, Sun and Moon, and Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, the concept of SOS battles became a primary method for shiny hunting. During an SOS battle, a wild Pokémon can call for help, bringing in another Pokémon to join the fight. If a trainer continues to knock out the allies called in without defeating the original Pokémon, a call chain develops. As this chain grows longer, the chances of a shiny Pokémon appearing among the reinforcements increase. At a chain length of 70 or more, the odds of a shiny appearing could reach as low as 1 in 512 with the shiny charm, making it one of the most efficient methods to date for wild shinies. This method required careful planning, specific Pokemon with abilities like Harvest or Pressure, and a good understanding of battle mechanics to keep the chain going indefinitely. The strategic depth of SOS chaining added a layer of skill to shiny hunting, moving beyond pure luck and into calculated effort. The quiet rhythm of battle, the strategic removal of non-shiny reinforcements, the focused attention on the screen all contribute to a state of calm, yet engaged hunting. The 8th generation, Sword and Shield, brought with it new changes and refinements. The base shiny odds remained at 1 in 4096, and with a shiny charm, they reduced to 1 in 1365. The Masuda method continued to be effective, offering odds of 1 in 683 without the charm and 1 in 512 with it. A new mechanic called Knockout Method was introduced, where repeatedly defeating or catching the same species of Pokemon in the wild would increase the chances of encountering a shiny version of that Pokemon. After defeating or catching 500 of a specific species, the odds would increase to a maximum of 1 in 512 with the shiny charm. This method encouraged active engagement with the wild area, a dynamic environment where Pokemon roam freely. The thrill of encountering a shimmering Pokemon in the tall grass, knowing that your past efforts had contributed to that moment, was a unique experience. Additionally, the max raid battles offered another avenue, albeit with very low odds, for encountering shiny Gigantamax Pokemon, adding an extra layer of excitement and challenge to the hunt. The 9th generation, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, further refined the shiny hunting experience by making shiny Pokemon visible in the overworld. No longer would trainers have to engage in battle to discover if a Pokemon was shiny. They could see its alternate coloration directly as it roamed the landscape. This was a monumental change, transforming shiny hunting from a series of blind encounters into a visual search. The base odds remained 1 in 4096, and with a shiny charm, 1 in 1365. The Masuda method continued its effectiveness, and the introduction of mass outbreaks and shiny power sandwiches provided even more dedicated methods. Mass outbreaks are events where a large number of a single Pokemon species appear in a specific area. By defeating a certain number of Pokemon within an outbreak, the odds of a shiny appearing significantly increase. Shiny power sandwiches, crafted from specific ingredients, temporarily boost shiny encounter rates for specific Pokemon types, making targeted hunts more efficient than ever before. The ability to directly observe the glistening form of a shiny Pokemon in the vibrant landscapes of Paldea adds a layer of serene satisfaction to the pursuit. Imagine quietly traversing a sun-drenched field, the gentle rustle of leaves against your footsteps, when suddenly a flash of an unexpected color catches your eye. That moment of recognition, without the need for a battle, is a pure, unadulterated joy. Throughout all these generations, one constant remains: the thrill of discovery, whether it's the quiet contemplation of soft resetting for a legendary, the rhythmic hatching of eggs through the Masuda method, the strategic chaining in SOS battles, or the visual hunt in the open world. Each method offers its own unique blend of challenge and reward. The inherent rarity of shiny Pokemon, regardless of the generation or the method employed, ensures that each successful hunt is a moment to be cherished. It's a reminder of the vast and intricate world that Game Freak has created, a world full of hidden wonders and unexpected beauty. The gentle hum of the game, the soft glow of the screen, the anticipation of that sparkling animation, these elements combine to create a deeply calming and engaging experience, perfectly suited for a quiet evening. The stories of specific shiny Pokemon, from the legendary red Gyarados to the countless personal triumphs of individual trainers, weave a rich tapestry of lore that extends far beyond the game's code. These aren't just pixels, they are memories, achievements, and cherished companions in the vast and ever expanding Pokemon universe, gently lulling the mind into a state of peaceful slumber. The concept of a shiny Pokemon, a creature of altered hue and sparkling aura, dates back to the very second generation of games, Pokemon Gold and Silver, released in 1999. Before these titles, the idea of an alternate color palette for a Pokemon was unheard of, and its introduction was a subtle yet profound addition that would forever alter the landscape of Pokemon collecting. The very first shiny Pokemon that many trainers encountered, often without even realizing the significance of what they had found, was the red Gyarados in the Lake of Rage. This scripted encounter served as a brilliant, albeit accidental, introduction to the phenomenon for many players. Its vibrant, unusual red scales stood out starkly against the typical blue of a Gyarados, and its presence within the storyline, being a Pokemon forcibly evolved by Team Rocket, imbued it with an additional layer of narrative weight. This particular Gyarados was not just a rare color, it was a symbol of environmental disruption and human interference, making it a memorable encounter for reasons beyond its aesthetic rarity. The initial implementation of shiny Pokemon was tied directly to a Pokemon's individual values, or IVs, which are hidden stats that determine a Pokemon's overall power. Specifically in Gold, Silver, and Crystal, a Pokemon's attack, defense, special attack, special defense, and speed of freeze were used to determine if it would be shiny. For a Pokemon to be shiny, its defense, special attack, and special defense IVs had to be 10, while its speed RV had to be 10. The attack foe then needed to be either 2, 3, 6, 7, 10, 11, 14, or 15. This complex internal calculation meant that shiny Pokemon were not simply randomly generated alternate colors. They were creatures with a specific statistical profile, albeit one that was not immediately apparent to the player. This connection to IVs also meant that shiny Pokemon from Generation 2s had inherent advantages in competitive battling, as their fixed IVs often resulted in higher stats than an average Pokemon. However, this also meant that some Pokemon, due to their base stats, could never be shiny if their IVs didn't align with these specific requirements for certain categories. This intricate system, while fascinating in retrospect, was largely invisible to the casual player, who simply marveled at the unexpected splash of color. The odds of encountering a shiny Pokemon in Generation 2 were approximately 1 in 8,092 encounters. This was a significantly rarer occurrence compared to later generations, making each shiny discovery a truly momentous event. The lack of in game notification or sparkling animation for wild encounters meant that a trainer could potentially overlook a shiny Pokemon if they weren't paying close attention to its color. Imagine the quiet despair of realizing, after defeating a wild Pokemon, that its sprite on the encounter screen was subtly different from what you remembered. This subtlety added to the mystique and the challenge, transforming each encounter into a careful examination, a silent quest for the unusual. The only visual cue during battle was the color itself, and for Pokemon with very subtle shiny variations, this could be incredibly difficult to discern without prior knowledge. The concept of a shiny lock also emerged in later generations, a deliberate decision by Game Freak to prevent certain legendary or mythic Pokemon from appearing in their shiny forms during initial encounters. This was often done to preserve the narrative integrity of a particular event, or to ensure that special distribution Pokemon remained unique. For instance, in many games, the primary legendary Pokemon encountered during the storyline, such as Groudon or Kyogre in Ruby and Sapphire, could not be shiny. This prevented players from soft resetting endlessly at a critical story point, potentially disrupting the flow of the game. However, these Pokemon were often made available in shiny forms through later events or remakes, providing a new opportunity for dedicated hunters to pursue them. The shiny lock is a testament to the developer's understanding of the immense dedication some players have to collecting these rare variations, and their desire to manage the player experience accordingly. The phenomenon of shiny breeding through the Masuda method, named after Game Freak director Junichi Masuda, revolutionized shiny hunting for many players. This method, introduced in Generation 4, involves breeding two Pokemon from games of different real-world language regions. For example, breeding a Japanese Ditto with an English Turtwig significantly increases the odds of hatching a shiny Turtwig egg. The original odds of hatching a shiny egg without the Masuda method were the standard 1 in 8,192 in Generation 4 and V, and 1 in 4,096 in Generation 6 onwards. With the Masuda method, these odds were dramatically reduced, initially to 1 in 1,638.4 in Generation 4, and later to 1 in 682.7 in Generation 5, and then a consistent 1 in 512 with the shiny charm in Generation 6 and beyond. This method transformed shiny hunting from a purely luck-based endeavor into a methodical, albeit repetitive, process. The rhythmic cycling of the game, the collecting of eggs, the gentle hum of the Pokemon daycare, and the slow, hopeful hatching animation became a familiar and almost meditative routine for countless trainers. The sheer volume of eggs required often meant hundreds, if not thousands, of hatches, each one a small gamble, a tiny flicker of hope for that elusive sparkle. The emotional impact of encountering a shiny Pokemon, whether through a random wild encounter or after hours of dedicated hunting, is a powerful and memorable experience. It's a moment of pure serendipity, a sudden burst of recognition and joy that transcends the digital medium. For many, a shiny Pokemon isn't just a different color, it's a trophy, a testament to patience, perseverance, and perhaps a little bit of good fortune. The distinct, sparkling animation that accompanies a shiny Pokemon's appearance in battle, akin to scattered stardust, serves as a clear and unmistakable signal of its rarity. This visual cue, introduced in Generation 3, eliminated the ambiguity of earlier games, ensuring that no trainer would accidentally overlook their precious find. The sound effect that often accompanies this sparkle further enhances the moment, a subtle chime that resonates with the thrill of discovery. The community surrounding shiny hunting is a vibrant and supportive one, with trainers sharing tips, strategies, and tales of their triumphs and frustrations. Online forums and social media platforms are filled with celebratory posts of newly acquired shinies, often accompanied by detailed accounts of the hunt itself. This shared passion creates a sense of camaraderie among trainers, fostering a collective appreciation for the subtle beauty and inherent rarity of these special Pokémon. The stories range from miraculous full odds encounters that happen almost by accident to epic hunts lasting hundreds of hours and thousands of encounters, pushing the limits of patience and dedication. Each story, whether brief or extensive, contributes to the rich tapestry of the Pokemon universe, weaving personal narratives into the grander lore. The concept of shiny value, or SV, was a fascinating, albeit controversial, development in the shiny hunting community during the Generation 6 era, particularly with Pokemon Exus and Urius. This method exploited a quirk in the game's internal programming related to how Pokemon eggs were generated. Each trainer and each egg had a hidden shiny value, or trainer ID and egg ID, respectively. If these two values matched, the Pokemon hatched from that egg would be shiny. Through various community driven efforts and external tools, players could determine their own trainer SV and the egg SV of Pokemon being bred. This allowed for incredibly efficient shiny breeding, as players could trade eggs with matching SVs to guarantee a shiny Pokemon. While highly effective, this method was seen by some as diminishing the purity of shiny hunting, as it removed the element of chance and discovery. It was eventually patched out in later games, returning shiny hunting to its more traditional, luck-based foundations, but it stands as an interesting footnote in the history of shiny hunting methodologies. The evolution of shiny hunting methods reflects the ongoing innovation within the Pokemon series itself. From the opaque IV-based system of Generation 2 to the visually guided hunts of Pokemon Legends, Arceus, and Scarlet and Violet, each generation has offered new ways to engage with this unique aspect of the game. The developers at Game Freak have consistently introduced novel mechanics, such as the Pokéradar in Diamond and Pearls, the fishing chain in Excells and Ys, and the SOS battles in Sun and Moon, each designed to offer a fresh challenge and a new approach to the pursuit of shiny Pokemon. These varied methods cater to different playstyles and preferences, ensuring that there's always a new way to embark on a shiny quest. The quiet patience required for a long chain of fishing encounters, the strategic planning involved in maintaining a Poké-radar chain, or the focused dedication of an SOS battle, each offers a distinct flavor of challenge and reward. The impact of shiny Pokémon extends beyond just in-game collecting. They have become a significant part of the broader Pokémon culture. Collectible merchandise often features shiny variations, and they are frequently highlighted in promotional material and special events. The allure of a shiny Pokémon is undeniable, representing a rare and cherished treasure within a world already brimming with wonder. They serve as a constant reminder of the depth and detail embedded within the Pokemon universe, a universe that continues to captivate and inspire millions around the globe. The quiet contemplation of a shiny Pokémon resting in your box, or the gentle animation of its entrance into battle, these small details contribute to the overall tranquility and immersive nature of the game. These are not merely digital creatures, but rather companions, each with its own story, its own journey, reflecting the countless hours of dedication and patience poured into their discovery. The soft glow of the screen, the gentle hum of the console, and the quiet satisfaction of a successful hunt all contribute to a peaceful atmosphere, perfect for drifting off into a serene and dream filled sleep.